Hello everyone and welcome back to another part of my art journey. I'm basically done with figure drawings, at least for this section of the art journey, but I'll just keep doing them just to improve it. I moved on to body construction this week, where I tried out two different styles. I forget the first one, but it was a lot simpler, a lot easier, but the second one, whilst it does look a lot messier, it tended to produce better figures and I also enjoyed it a lot more. So I think that's how I'm going to be doing my body construction from now on. Started on some 2-point perspective boxes and basically just boxes until I did my scene, tried it out, think it's fine. The Houses of Parliament, which I did for my scene, is a lot messier than I anticipated, but all I wanted to do was get the shape right because the details, oh my goodness, I am not capable of doing a Gothic style accurately, at least not yet anyway. And lastly, I wanted to turn one of the body constructions into an actual art piece, and one of my mates suggested that I do Sun Wukong, and it's a good piece, even if it is just for practice. So, what do we want to talk about? I was thinking of a nice, relaxing story of my first ever time at a job. This was back in 2019, and it wasn't a long-lasting job, mind you. It was only ever for probably 6 shifts, and this was at a football stadium. It was at Bramall Lane, the home of Sheffield United, because I was going to university at Sheffield at the time. And it only lasted for 6 shifts because, well, it was close to Christmas, and straight afterwards we got the big old 2020 lockdown. Found some agency called ARC. It was a bit weird going there the first time because they all gave us sheets of paper and it was all really like an IQ test. I think they were just testing to see whether we were capable of following instructions or something. They were like, what is the next in this pattern? Can you add 11 plus 27? Or some simple multiplication. And yeah, I think I passed that with flying colors. I would hope I did anyway. They never actually gave me the results. I'm at university doing engineering. I would hope I'm good at maths. This was actually a big time for Sheffield United. This was their first season back in the Premier League. So it was great to kind of experience the atmosphere that was going on around that, because they actually did really good in their first season in the Premier League. I think they finished 9th. Even though they had just got promoted, which is a really big accomplishment, so good for them. I got to work with so many new people. Literally every time I went to work, it was different people I was working with. I wouldn't say it was a struggle, but it was definitely new to me because I was not a very social person. So I had to interact with new people every single day, and I think it was good on me. And I don't think I embarrassed myself at all. Well, maybe a little to the customers, but we don't need to talk about that too much. Actually, you know what? Let's talk about that. That's what I want to talk about. Yeah, so being in a hospitality, all I really did was I was stood behind the kiosk. Football stadiums have a bunch of kiosks all around. I actually remember my first day vividly. I think it was Sheffield United were playing Southampton at the time. But this was like my first ever time serving drinks, serving food, and one of the times someone came up to the kiosk asking for beer, and I just instinct, yep, I'll pour it. I don't really say much, I'm just pouring the thing, and I usually just fill it to the top because it looks nice. But one of the times it came out 50-50. It was 50% drink, 50% foam, and I was like, here you go, sir. Hope you like this. He looks at me and he's like, you joking? He looks over to his mate and he's like, I'm not taking that. And I'm like, what the hell happens now? And so I panically, and I just go up to one of my colleagues and I'm like, please, what happens? What do I do? Please help me. It was really simple. All you do is just keep it in, keep pouring until foam leaves. Downside with that is that it spills all over your hands. So every single day I was going back with my hands stinking of beer. On that same day, someone came up to me and was like, can I have some lager? So I had no idea what the hell lager was, and I was like, sorry sir, we don't have lager. And then he turns to his mate and he's like, can you believe that? We don't have lager. And I'm like, what is lager, sir? It was the thing in the fridge. Pull it out, give it to him. It's not like they taught me anything. They never trained me for this. They were just like, yep, here you go. Stick on this shirt. It was a bit of a trial by fire. Although my second day was a lot more trial by fire. I think it was a EFL Cup and they were playing against Sunderland. This was another loss. And it was just me and this one dude in one of the tiny kiosks in the away end. And we were serving all of the Sunderland supporters that were coming by. Me being very inexperienced, I was still looking to the other guy for help most of the time, but I started to pick things up quickly. I started knowing how to serve drinks. Everything was going by fine. There was one incident that happened on this occasion where someone had left their card in the card reader, and we had no idea who it was, because you see so many faces that you can't really, identify anyone in particular. So my colleague takes the card, hangs onto it. Someone else comes up later and he's like, excuse me, yeah, have you seen a card? Oh, I should put on a Geordie accent. How are man? Have you seen a card? How are man? Have you seen my card? My colleague kind of looks at me and is like, yeah, what's the name on the card, mate? He turns to his family and he's like, could you believe he's asking me that? What's the name of the card? My colleague is flustered and he's like, you know what, whatever, just take the card. Hands him the card. And then 10 minutes later, someone else comes up and he's like, excuse me, have you seen my card? I'm like, oh no. My colleagues just handed off this card to some rando. At this point, we knew that he messed up like hugely. I don't really know what the procedure is if you find a lost card. He should have asked for more details on the card and shouldn't have given it back until he got all the details correct. That was, it was fun. And we did have like a supervisor come and check it out, but for the most part we were just kind of left to our own devices that day. It was fun. It's nice talking to a guy for a whole shift. You get to talk about some cool stuff. Third day, I think I was working in a kiosk outside, and oh my goodness, I think this was probably October, maybe November, so it was freezing outside. On the plus side, we have the heating places for all the food, all the pies, all the hot food, they go there. It wasn't entirely freezing for us. It must have been freezing for the fans though when they came outside. There's not really much to talk about this day. I think they lost to Liverpool, but this was a kind of, I was starting to get into the groove of things, and especially on like the fourth day, I was fully in. I knew what I was doing. I knew what to serve. I knew how to charge for things, and it wasn't too difficult to learn. Still wish they'd give me some training though, but whatever. You can't ask for everything, especially when it's an agent. I actually got to sneak all the employees some food at the end of the day on the 4th, because usually there's so much waste. They always throw away all the food. We'd get a big bin bag and we just throw out every single pie, but this time I was just like, yo, can we just take it home? This guy was just like, yeah, fine, whatever, I don't really care, because the food's gonna go in the bin, so who cares what happens to it. It was a good day for Sheffield though. They actually beat Arsenal that day. It was actually a good run for Sheffield, because the next session I was near the front area where all the offices are, so it was a bit more of an expensive area. Still had the same kind of fans going through, but this was a really good win for Sheffield United. And of course, everyone you meet is always friendly, mostly. But because Sheffield is doing good at this period of time, no one is being argumentative with you at all. People come, they take their drinks. One time, someone bought 5 drinks, and then we ran out of the beer, and I was just like, you know what, mate, just give me another name, I'll give you whatever you want, take it and leave. Which I think was bad procedure, because I already charged him for the other drinks, but who cares. I specifically remember that day, during the lull periods when everyone was just watching the match, we'd have nothing to do for like 25 minutes, so we'd go into the front office where the desks are, and we'd start watching the TV just to see what's happening in the match. But eventually, one of the managers came up to us and was like, excuse me, could you go back to your kiosk, please? And I'm like, okay. There was one really fun fan I remember from that day. I think he was just trying out a new beer, and he was really talkative and nice too. It's like, hi mate, oh, what's the neck oil? I think that was one of the new drinks that we were starting serving. And I was like, I have no idea, but I could pour you one if you want. And he's like, yeah, I'll have one of the neck oils, please, at halftime. And I'm talking to him again, and he's like, oh, I'll have some more of them neck oils. Oh, they are really good. I'm like, coming your way, sir. That was a good match too, because people had left at 40 minutes just so they can get like a drink just before halftime. That's when Sheffield scored 2 of their goals to make it 3-0. And so these people were like buying their drinks, and then they start hearing the crowd cheering, and they're like, oh, what? Oh, I gotta go back. And then they'd leave again, come back, and then another goal gets scored. He's like, you're kidding me. They're super happy about it, but they missed the best parts of the game. On the final day, I didn't know it was my final day, but I was really excited to go into work because they were playing Manchester United, and hate me all you want, but yes, I was a Manchester United fan. Still am a Manchester United fan. And it was a real good game. I think it finished 3-3. But I mainly remember that day for 2 things. One, there was this really lovely woman who I was speaking to. She was 8 years older than me, but she looked about my age. I thought she was my age. She has these great experiences of traveling all over the world and working all over the place. She actually gave me some advice on what to do when I was telling her, oh, I wanted to do this and that. She's like, oh, you can check this out. Why not? But I mainly remember her because she was my type too. I don't really remember her name or anything like that, but you know, I remember that she was nice to me. That's what I really remember. Maybe because I was infatuated by her. Who knows? Although I was very disappointed at the very end of the day, because as we were leaving, it was extra time and we're walking past the Sheffield United fans, and just as we get like halfway across the field, Sheffield United score. And it was the loudest thing I've ever heard in my life, because I'm right in the thick of it. All these Sheffield United fans screaming off one of my ears, but I couldn't say anything, I couldn't show anything, because I'm pretty sure the Sheffield United fans would beat the hell out of me. That was great atmosphere, you really felt it. That was like the first time I'd ever actually really been within a football crowd. Like, you hear the stuff from the kiosks all the time, but you don't feel it until you're like right there. I really did intend to go back and to see that girl again, to talk some more. I mean, I wouldn't have done anything about it because I'm too shy. And then it was Christmas at the end of university for Christmas break, so I went back home, and then lockdown happened, so I never really got to go back to work to Sheffield United. It was a good experience, my first job. I'm glad I got to work there. Anyway, so that's it for the story, that's it for the art video. Any remarks? I should probably state that following Friday this week, I am going to be on annual leave, so I won't actually be home. So I won't be making any videos. I will still be doing art. That won't be given up. But there won't be any uploads on this channel, at least until I can imagine the first week of April. I won't have any videos. But yeah, that's me signing off. Don't forget to love yourself.